So, first, who's seen this graph? I did it last year. It's the McKinsey study, November of 2020. Buyers were asked, how would you like to deal with salespeople? And about a third, it's called the rule of thirds, right? A third of people said, we want to get back to the traditional approach. A third said, you know what, we don't need the traditional anymore. We kind of like the remote thing. And a third said, we want to do digital self-serve. We don't want to actually deal with anybody. We want to do like the Amazon buying thing. So what's the salesperson's value prop in the process at this point? Like, what's the value to the buyer? Here's what it used to be. I started off selling in radio airtime. I was the person who sold commercials that interrupt your music when you're listening to radio, right? So I would be looking for advertisers. So I might get a call from a local car dealer, and they would say, hey, can you come in and tell us about radio? Because we use the Chicago Tribune currently, and we're thinking we might want to try radio. We've heard about radio. So I'd be like, okay, cool. So I worked at an oldie station, Oldies 104, right? So I would get, we had these media kits, right? These really cool orange folders. So we had these bins of one-sheeters. So I'd pull all my one-sheeters together. I'd put them in this bin. I would go to the car dealer, and I would say, let me tell you about my radio station. Let me tell you about the market. Let me tell you about radio. So I would do a pretty good pitch on radio. I'd say, let me tell you about radio versus print. Print sucks, radio's great. And we have all these really cool stats. Then I would say, let me tell you about the Chicago radio market. And I would say, there's 30 radio stations. Here's the formats. Here's the demos. And let me tell you about our radio station. And I would tell them about my radio station. I would say, we're #1 in Arbitron, adults 25-54, the people who buy cars, and we have promotions, we have all this really cool stuff. So the buyer needed me, and this is like before internet, right? Not dating myself. They couldn't get any of that information unless they had a rep involved. Today, they don't need to call a sales rep to learn about the radio business. They don't need to call a sales rep to learn about the Chicago marketplace. They don't need to call a salesperson to learn about the radio station. They can do that all electronically. So ChatGPT came in, and now what you can do is I can go to ChatGPT and say, write radio copy. And it's going to write way better radio copy than I would have back when I started in radio. And so you'd think of this technology, how fast it's come up. You got 1 million users in 5 days. You got 100 million users in 2 months. There's been nothing like this. 2 days ago, I don't have an updated slide on this if anyone's been keeping up with this. This is GPT-4, the latest protocol. It's crazy what is happening right now. And so here's the challenge. In the buyer-seller dance, the value prop of the salesperson has greatly changed. It used to be you had to call the rep as the buyer for information, to be educated, and for creative solutions. And now, as things are moving, we're getting to a place like, do I need the sales rep for that? And buyers are voting with their actions. I always feel like a buzzkill when I start these talks. So don't be bummed, it's coming around. So here's how fast it's going. On GPT, it's every 6 months, it is doubling. Moore's Law was every 18 months things would double. Machine learning and AI, every 6 months it's doubling. That means at the 2025 Sandler Summit, machine learning and AI will be 10x, because it'll go from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, and that crosses over the 10x mark in about 18 months. So before the 2025 Summit, AI will be crazy smarter than it is right now. And ChatGPT has an opinion on salespeople too. So I went in there and asked this question. I hope this shows up. I wasn't sure if it would. Yeah. So at the bottom, I put in this question. What do you find most irritating about salespeople? And so this is kind of fun. So it starts off by saying, I'm AI, I don't have an opinion. But here's what I hear. And so pressure tactics, lack of knowledge, false information, like that one. Yeah, overly aggressive, lack of listening, insincerity. Yeah. This is the self-esteem portion of today. This is Yeah, this is not the future self that Ben was referring to. Right? I know this isn't real. This is not this room, but this is the stereotype image that people have when a salesperson is approaching them, and we are that. So I know that this is the anti-Sandler, but this is the mindset. So here is the good news out of being the buzzkill of the day, is there is opportunity. There is opportunity. So I want to spend some time talking about how can we change the buyer-seller dance so we change the experience.
Thank you for watching this highlight video from the Sandler Summit. You can join us for the next Sandler Summit in 2024, March 19th and 20th at the Orlando World Center Marriott. Register now at sandler.com/summit.